Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Business Growth Show, where we talk about all components of business and how to utilize them for exponential growth. My name is Athin Cassiotis. I'm a serial entrepreneur, international speaker, results strategist, business coach, mentor, and consultant. Today, I have an awesome guest. She is an entrepreneur, real estate and equities investor, speaker, along with an advocate and practitioner of biblical leadership and wealth. She is the creator of the Kings and Wealth Conference, where she helps people connect and align with like-minded believers who are hungry and unafraid to pursue the highest calling of biblical wealth. Welcome, Wai-yee Schmidt, and thank you for being on my show.
Thank you so much, Athin. Thank you for having me here. I am so honored to be here. Along with the many amazing people that you've interviewed, I'm so surprised I'm getting an interview from you so quickly. I hear that your show is one of the best shows on Millionaire Flix. So it's such an honor and a privilege to be here with you today.
So awesome to have you here as well, Wai-yee. And I just wanted to get a few of the kinks out, in the show first before I got an amazing guest like yourself on here. And I'm sure we're going to provide a lot of awesome value for everyone listening. So, it's going to be so awesome. So, you're a very successful entrepreneur. And for those people who don't know who you are, please introduce yourself by telling us about you and your journey.
Right. Well, I started out, in Singapore. That's the country of origin. I have been in Germany for 20 years. I was married to my late husband, who was German. And and so my journey started in Singapore. My family wasn't wealthy by any means. We lived in what we would call, sometimes I feel like it's hard to use words like that, slums, ghetto. But that was pretty much what it was 50 years ago in the neighborhood I was in. Today we'll call it maybe I'm trying to think of a better word that's more appropriate, so to speak, underserved community. It was very, 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 very underserved. So my family, we lived in a small little apartment. The four of us, my brother, myself, and my parents. And it was a small apartment with no bedroom, half a bedroom and a tiny little space that's called a living area, and it was in this huge block of apartments. It was dingy, so I came from that kind of environment. Unfortunately, there was also a lot of brokenness in our family life, but I think all of that, how would I put it? All of that tough environment really just pushed me to reach for something outside of my world. Even as a young child, I knew I wanted to get out of this. And I remember when I was 10, and yes, and this I've shared before with Christian audiences, my dad was an alcoholic. And he wasn't very successful, clearly, otherwise we wouldn't have been in that state. Their marriage was difficult. But I remember he was telling me, he said, "Look, you have got such a big mouth. I mean, you just mouth all the time." And I was 10 years old, he's like, "You're running your mouth all the time. Please make sure you do something with it when you grow up." He said, "You should become an attorney." That was what he told me as a 10-year-old. That's what he said, and that somehow that stuck with me. When my parents got divorced, I didn't see him for like the good part of an entire decade. But all that stuff, all the information, that somehow that just sat with me, and it just gave me a goal. Like, okay, I'm gonna latch onto that. My father said that I can try being an attorney, even though he wasn't a really good dad in a lot of different ways. But he gave me something, and I want to honor him for that, And so I got really good in grades. I did really well in school. And I succeeded in being a lawyer. But even that journey there was really tough. Even during law school, was really tough. That was like a turning point where I really questioned, doing so well in school and getting to where I was supposed to get. And then I had a not so good relationship with somebody that was just like my dad, and so I ended up in the same, how would I put it, a same trap of abuse. And I can't find a better word for it, but that's just what it is. And I really cried out for help. And the amazing thing was, that was the turning point for me to turn to faith, to look for God. And then after that, a lot of people with strong Christian faith started reaching out to me. And and since I think it was around 2022, 23, I decided to make a decision to start a journey with God. That was my turning point. And then since then, everything that's happened in my life has been, I can only attribute it to God's wisdom and accompaniment of my journey. And I also think a lot of the wisdom and the tenacity that I have as a person, that is also kind of is part of my training as an attorney as well. I tell people all the time, even in my own conferences when I teach, that focus is so important, tenacity is so important. And I love what JT says about having an insane work ethic, because that's also part of me. That's also part of my DNA as well. And that's why, there's been such a good click with me and you guys in the group, in the investor group. I mean, and it's just amazing. Everybody is a really diligent person. And that I've seen it in my own life that, both myself and my late husband, we have no problems with hard work, and so being an attorney as well, working 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours, sometimes even overnight, to make sure that something gets across the finishing line, and just get stuff done. Yeah, we'll be able to get it done. Yeah. So I guess it's a really big question. I can go on and on and on and on. Like, just as a starting point, I'm not sure if that helps, but yeah, I think some of my Christian values, my work ethic, and having a lot of wisdom moving along, that got me started on my success journey. It's not just with real estate. It started with when I was a child. Yeah. And all of this just kind of mashed together the fabric of what a person is like, and what are the impulses and what are the, what is the process, the mindset as well. Yeah. And also what is really important for me personally is that I know I'm not doing things in isolation for myself and my family. I think that's really important for everybody to really reflect and always take a step back. Where do you come from? Where are you going? And for what? So I always challenge people to think about that. That's a big thing for me, because for me, I feel like, yeah, my life is part of fulfilling an even greater plan. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so awesome, Wai. It's lovely to hear all of those words and understanding more of what you're about. And it's I can definitely resonate with certain elements of that. And we all go through challenging times, and it's how we use those things on how we move forward and everything like that. So that was really awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I guess I know you recently had your Kings and Wealth conference that you just did, and so for everyone that doesn't really know much about that, can you just elaborate more on what you teach and how it can help people?
Right. Yeah. I feel like a lot of times, and this is not just restricted to the Christian circles, and if we just like I say, take a step back and be totally honest. I mean, most people are living their lives without purpose and also without a sense of who they are. So I try to tackle a very key issue from the biblical perspective, from the Christian perspective of who God created you and I to be. And for me, because of my heritage of being in business, being an attorney, that was something really special that I felt God told me to help other people who are willing to learn from me, is that it is part of his plan to call many of us to be successful leaders and to success.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And it is okay to create wealth when there's a purpose to it and there's significance to it.
Yeah.
So like the vision of it. And yes, I call it Kings and Wealth because it is something very specific from the Bible. You know, leadership is embodied in various characters in the Bible, like King David, King Solomon, people like Abraham. These are huge leaders in the Bible. And I feel that there are some very special, very unique, and many unique, strong, gifted individuals out there that are called to be just like these kings and to succeed like them.
I love that. And yeah, I haven't been able to grace the presence of that, but I do look forward to doing it soon. And I think what's lovely about today is that there's so many different ways of looking at things, and we all have such a wide variety of knowledge, experience, and everything to share with everybody. And we all have a unique perspective, and there's so much to learn from everything. And for you to really hone in on that and really take the best bits out of it and how we can apply that in our lives, I think is very honorable. And for people to be able to connect with that, and like you said, really connect with that deeper purpose, which is really important because why do we do what we do and everything, and that way you don't necessarily, no matter what our beliefs are, you don't necessarily have to read the whole thing. It's about taking the good out of everything, because there is always good, right, in everything like that.
Absolutely.
So it's really awesome.
Absolutely. I love the way you put it, Athin. I mean, like, I absolutely love it. And that's the whole point of also my teaching is I'm pulling out the principles from the Bible to help people succeed. Yeah, I'm not saying, okay, you have to be in these circles. No, that's not my point. I mean, I feel like these principles are so good. A lot of people can benefit from just learning them and applying them and then just having results. And the whole point of calling out people, the way we use our language, we say call out a king, is simply to connect with the king inside of you. And I'm looking at you and you're an amazing king that God has created. I mean, you're smart, you're eloquent, you're sharp, and you're charismatic. You're a king. You're a king, and so I'm trying to connect with that individual, whoever that person is, and there are many that everyone has been created uniquely with their own package of giftings. So this is basically the mission of this conference that I do. Yeah, this teaching is a teaching conference. It's also part of my coaching. So yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it, Wai. Thank you for the lovely words. And you are also a king. You don't have to say you're a queen unless you want to say that as well, but I think you're a king as well, with everything you do. It's awesome. There's always things to learn, and you've got an amazing personality as well, and an amazing knowledge, and amazing way of articulating yourself as well, from the conversations that we've been together, which is awesome too. And I think that's a really big thing for you. So you have the perfect platform to be able to share them well. And I think that's really important for someone like yourself on that stage, whether it's in person or virtually like we are at the moment, to really share that with everybody. So it's really grateful that you can do that with everyone too.
Oh, thank you, Athin. I've never heard it said that way. That's why I love reaching out to new people. I mean, you've got a fresh perspective of what I'm doing, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm very thankful for our connection. I just absolutely love that. I mean, I'm so honored by that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, good way. We roll with it, and we connect, and you never know where things roll to. So you got to give credit where credit's due. Love it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if we now pivot a little bit with this conversation, and actually, you sort of mentioned it before about success. So, what is your definition, or how do you sort of look at success from your eyes?
Yeah, from my eyes. Okay, you know that my filter and my lens would be from a biblical Christian perspective, but like I said, I think a lot of the stuff is so good, it's actually applicable for everybody who are, who want to try that out,
Yeah.
So from my perspective, it's actually really simple. It's like each and every human being has been placed on this planet to fulfill a God purpose, a really super amazing God purpose. And it's not extending to this lifetime that we have on earth. It actually, as us Christians, we believe it will stretch out into eternity. So for me, the idea of success, the definition of success, is to really be aware of who God created you to be in your time on earth. Yes, you will impact the earth, with the God given giftings and talents, yeah, and fulfill his plans and purposes for this lifetime. But then for us Christians, we also know that whatever that we do, I mean, and this is my belief as well, and this is what I teach, for what I do during this lifetime, there's going to be an impact in eternity. So I'm looking actually beyond. So which means it doesn't mean that we cannot fail, because I believe I have a God that's very loving, and there's one verse in the Bible that resonates in my head all the time, because I'm screwing up every single time. See, I'm really cussing. I'm not supposed to be doing that, but it doesn't matter. you know? But yeah, we screw up all the time, but there's one verse in the Bible that says, the righteous man will fall 7 times and will rise again.
Love that. And I think that's a great analogy to have in life and business, right? Where go for it, right? We may fail along the lines and things like that, but that's okay, right? Is look for help from others, do what you love and really make your mark in this world. And it's only going to get better in what we do. So yeah, really love that, Wai-yee. Lovely words there. And I guess the other side of things with you is, you're a very successful investor, right? And I guess, some people on this maybe just wanting to start a business. Some people might already have a business. Some people might be investors, right? So we would have a wide variety of people. But I think eventually, like when you become a business owner and you make a lot of money, it can happen other ways, but let's just say in this respect, then you got to look at what do you do with your money, right? Is you want to invest it in things that give you a return. So in what you do, how do you diversify your portfolio of investments?
Oh wow, I've been doing so much diversification lately. I mean, like, I have to say, I want to honor the people that have allowed me to have such a great strategy. I'm so thankful to JT Fox for connecting me with the best people really in business that I know. And he himself, he's given me great advice and counsel at the very beginning, especially when we first met. And also his tax advisor, Charlie Dombeck, fantastic guy. I've been working with Charlie very closely. But just as a broad sweep, I've been doing real estate for the last 10 years with my family. And I've really benefited from that. Of course, it's very local. It's we've been doing German real estate. So I've had a business of from in the last 10 years, we've had rental properties. I still have rental properties here in Germany. And on the other hand, I was also doing a flip business. I bought small apartments, I remodeled them, and then I will sell them. So it's kind of similar to what is happening probably in your part of the world and in the US. And that's basically where I learned it from the US, and I took it to the German market, to my own city. And yeah, I've been really enjoying it, done very well with it. And so that was my real estate side. The other thing that I started branching in a few years ago was to start getting into the stock market. I felt like it would be a huge compliment an awesome compliment to what I was doing. Real estate is one thing, it's very German, it's very local. So I do my business in German. Yes, I do speak German fluently. And so, so I'm yelling at my workers at the job site. Well, not yelling, I mean, yelling is a little bit of a strong word, but yeah, I will talk like that, loud, commanding, because the pipes are bursting. And what are we going to do? Somebody's got to put the hand in there and start digging out all those hairs that have clogged up all the pipes, right? Somebody's got to do that, right? Why is that apartment flooded? Somebody's got to clean it up. So, I mean, I'm really hands-on. I work very closely with my contractors, with my GCs, with my supervisors, my job site supervisors. I have a great relationship with them. And it's just me. I can be loud and I can be, friendly, and by them it works. So I've got that business going. I've got the rental business. I've got the rental property business. I've got the flipping business, and then I started getting into investing because, that's the whole German side, but there's also an international part of me. Like, I'm really enjoying our interaction because I've been in Germany for 20 years and I'm like, oh gosh, I really need to activate my brain cells, a different part of my brain. And so I started watching CNBC, I started watching Bloomberg, and I just like, oh my gosh, I really miss that. I've been a mom for a long time. I just stayed at home. My husband was very, very successful, and so, but in Germany, there's not a lot of support to be able for women to get out to work. And so I just did the right thing, we call it the Christian thing, to stay at home and did that season to take care of my kids when they were little. But I've been itching under my skin to just get out and do something, or just get my brain going, like all of this adrenaline, just like, oh, you gotta get it. And so I just channel that. Yeah. I just channel it into the stock market, just like doing, and JT likes to analyze and label us whether we are right brain, left brain. Yes, I think intuitively I am right brain, but I've also got a whole bunch of reserve left brain batteries that need to be charged up and activated. And so here I am, I'm like, okay, I love this. Oh my gosh, NVIDIA. Oh my gosh. And then what's going on with NVIDIA? Oh, and then all these different companies that's going, it's like it's in my head all the time. I'm like, oh, okay. And I started just getting into the stock market. Like, oh my gosh, why did I leave Zoom? Why did I leave so much money? Why did I exit that position? I mean, I've got all this stuff in my head the whole time. I'm reviewing in my head. I'm not thinking about shoes. I'm not thinking about fashion, but I'm thinking about, why did I not get out better in terms of my positioning in the stock market? I mean, I'm always reviewing my trades in my head, and so, and then the other thing that which just reminded me, I just saw this awesome Netflix series. Everybody has seen it. All the young people have seen it. Queen of Gambit, right? I don't know if you watched it. It's a chess show. Okay, it's about this young lady. It doesn't even matter that she's a young lady. Of course, it's hard for her to be so accomplished in the chess world. It's a story, but these people are reviewing in their head all the time how they can do something better, their moves on the chessboard, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun, because I'm doing the same thing in my head, like, oh man, why did I sell that trade? And so, that's also part of my personality. I love the stock market, and yes, I've made a lot of money this year. I'm very thankful about it. I really believe everything that I do is not just about me, it's God giving me that wisdom. And this year, yeah, I've hit my, I'm in the 6-figure range, and I've hit my annual target for this year by 40%, so I'm very happy. Yeah. That's one of my income, but that's real estate, that's that. And then lately I've been doing a lot of amazing passive investing. Wonderful passive investing. That's really important. I mean, all the stuff that I do is active. We're making money actively with our hands, right? So that's active income. But it's so important to get into passive investing as well, passive income, because none of us is so good that we can do everything perfectly. And that's why we need to be synergizing and tapping on other people's talents. And so if there are other people that have set up great funds that will give you good returns, I would even suggest you look into that. I mean, like we can talk about it, yes, as well. But yeah, then Charlie has to pay me something. I'm doing free advertising for him. But the point is, I love passive investing as well. I mean, it's also part of what I my my database, my building my base of revenue generating activities. Yeah, just getting your money to work for you instead of you working for your money. That's what I tell my people too. Of course, it takes a while. You have to be working to gather some money before you can get money to work for you. But yeah, when you're able to come to the point to start putting your money to work for you, that's when there's a multiplier effect and a compound effect that will kick in terms of building your wealth. Does that help?
I love it. So many amazing points there, and I love seeing your very driven, a sort of strong woman. I don't know, another way of saying that come out there, which is awesome as well. And seeing you when, you're really going to make sure things happen. So that was awesome. And I haven't seen that chess show, but I used to play chess championships when I was young at primary school, actually. Chess was a fun game. So
there you go.
There you go. And it's like what JT says, right? You always got to think 8 moves ahead, right?
Yeah. Yes. He probably has already seen it. That's why he said that.
Probably. And that's honestly, hey, that's chess, and that's business, right? It's everything. Because you got to think about contingencies. You got to think about what could happen, what's best case, worst case, most likely. If that happens, what do I do after that? That's the mindset that we must have, and put those strategies in place, because we never know exactly what's going to happen, but if we plan for everything, then we're going to be prepared and be able to have the best outcome at the same time as well.
Absolutely. I think like every time when you're moving along in business, at least for me, I'm thinking, okay, what's the end game for this part? And then what's the other goal for that? And then what's the other goal? And so, but one thing I've also learned is impossible to plan for every tiny scenario. And what's really helped me in the time that I've been doing real estate, I've been doing all these different things, is also, and JT talks about this too, it's also the ability to pivot. The ability to just adjust, course correct, because this is a year of like crazy course correction. I mean, everybody has had to rethink, revisit, how do we do this again? And this is not going to work anymore. You've just got to try different things. And so for me, when I'm doing a transaction, when I'm doing real estate, I mean, I have a plan. I would say about probably 80%, 80% plan in place, and then I'll work. And as I move along, it gets more and more refined. But then a lot of times in real estate, there will be stuff that you don't expect. And so you've got to react and you've got to pivot. Yeah. And I would say, I mean, for stock market, of course, I mean, that's like constant crazy in these days is very tumultuous. The market is very tumultuous, it's very volatile. And I've been very thankful to be able to use that to some extent. And yeah, I think there's one thing to plan, and then there's also the ability to react really quickly, yeah, and think through and come up with something new. That's really important in business. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of people say that when you're the entrepreneur or the business owner or the investor, it's all about like putting out fires a lot of the time, right? Because it's everything's all very easy in life and in business when things are going smooth. It's when there's the bumps in the road, right? Is when we need to really show, I guess, emotional intelligence, number one, right? Where we don't emotionally react to something, which is really important, because when you start to bring emotions in, it clouds our judgment. And then also thinking about, okay, when you do that, it helps you to think clearly and then go, okay, what are the options? Make a decision, stick with it, and yeah, really act fast. And that's really how you can, protect what you have, pivot or, just fix that thing that might be just plugging up your business or your investment or whatever it is like that at that time, because it's all about momentum, right? In business and investments. And we want to keep building that. Whenever there's something that's sort of, making it a bit tough, then you gotta clear that out to get those wheels spinning nice and fresh as well, which is really important too.
Absolutely. I'm just going to chime in on that. I mean, I know a lot of people, they talk about in business that, okay, you've got to take the emotion out of it. I'm just going to give you my take, Wai-yee Schmidt's take on this. Okay. I mean, what's worked for me is the ability to think clearly. I don't know if there's emotion involved or not, but I can tell you one thing, there's a lot of passion involved in everything that I do. So if should we classify passion as emotion or not, but it's like the turbo engine behind the vision. I think it's really important to have, and this is what I've been teaching as well, exceptional clarity of vision as a leader, as the business owner, as the entrepreneur. If you have your vision real clear in your head, whether you have emotion or whatever, if you have it real clear, it just keeps, you're just like powered by it the whole time. And when you have passion, I believe passion is that X factor that will pull people through. That passion for me, I'm passionate in not just in my Christian activities. I mean, I'm passionate about trading. I love it. I mean, I can, nobody has to pay me to do that. I'm on it all the time. I'm on the stock market stuff all the time, and real estate as well. I mean, oh my gosh, I love creating and transforming spaces. And like what you see right now in my virtual background, this is my favorite rental property. It's a multi-million euro property. And I'm renting it for a really, really great income, but it didn't come like this. I've had to, literally go to this lady's place in the beginning and pulled out the hairs with my worker from the drains in her bathroom. I've got to take care of stuff like that. And she kept denying, no, it's not my fault. No, it's not. Well, yeah, whose hair is this? Whose hair is this? And whose hair is this? But yeah, it did not look like, it's like there's a lot of work that has gone into adding value to real estate. And I'm very passionate about it, but I'm very clear in my head what my house was supposed to look like. We put in $1 million to add value to renovate, gut, and rebuild our house in 1930. 38, 34, I can't remember, it doesn't make a difference. But that house, we totally gutted it and then we rebuilt it from the inside out, but my husband was busy with his attorney career. So I was the one that was working with my architect, and the whole time I had all these ideas. I had very specific details in my head how the house is supposed to look like the turquoise little mosaic tiles in my bathroom that has got little specks of gold. I just wanted that touch of the ocean, which you have, because I live in Frankfurt and it's landlocked and I don't get to see the ocean, so I want to bring that element into my bathroom, right? And so I've got all these ideas. I'm very specific about it, or I wanted the flooring to be the hardwood floors to be a certain look. All these details. I remember my German architect was so frustrated with me, and he kept saying, "Frau Schmidt, I cannot understand. I cannot see the images in your head," but it was very clear in my head, and so that's how we were talking the whole time. I mean, but I think it's so important to have exceptional clarity of vision. And when you have passion to add on to that, boom, you're gonna get success. And passion is really important because it draws people in. it gets people excited. It's infectious. So and like right now, what's happening? I've gone to my King and Wealth conference. I'm telling you guys, pull up your socks. Come on, God wants you to succeed. And how I've done it through real estate. I've done it through, my family has done it. And yes, I was an attorney as well. Don't forget, the professional life is really important. You better be excelling in your job in the first place. Number one, excel in your job. And so I'm telling people all this stuff, and now everybody's excited. They started going into the stock market, and some people are already making profits. That's only been 2 weeks and people are making money. The first time getting into the stock market, trying things out, just to create an extra stream and a revenue. And so the passion is really important behind a vision. Yeah, and it's the same, like I said, whether it's real estate, whether it's trading, or whether it's my teaching conferences and coaching. Passion is important. So I don't know, but when you're able to think clearly in business, that's so important. That is so important. I can't even define it. Like, does this mean there's emotion or no emotion? I honestly can't answer you, Athin, but I know this is my formula. This is Wai-yee Schmidt formula. Yeah. Vision with passion. Oh, I love that. I'm gonna write that down.
Write it down. I love it. That could be a little tagline.
Yeah, vision with passion. Yeah, there you go. I'm so inspired just talking to you. You've got this thing about bringing out some really good stuff in me. I love it. You're awesome.
I love it, Wai-yee. The king's vision and passion, bring that out and show them how it's done. I really love that. And that was really awesome, that whole point. And what I'll say is, the way I see it, I see passion as above it, right? Because passion, like you said, is that drive, that thing that we must all have in whatever we do, because people feel that. And that's the thing that's going to get us up and keep, if we need to work late, like you said before, and whatever, the passion is going to make us do that. If we need to get up early for whatever reason, the passion, allows us to do that. So without that, we're not going to be able to succeed in the way that we want to succeed and really make that mark. So I don't see it necessarily as emotion. I see it as like a necessity. The way I see emotion, I love that segment though. That was amazing. See, it's amazing when you ask a question, you never know what's going to come out. So that was just gold. And I guess the way I see emotion is that if something happens, someone can get angry, or someone can get sad, or someone can get really excited, or, and if you do something like that, it can potentially cloud the clarity that you're talking about, right? Because the passion's always there, right? We're always going to have the passion. But whether or not you're, it's a really negative emotion, obviously, if someone's really angry, they're going to do something bad. But even sometimes if it's a really positive emotion as well, if you're really excited on something, you might not look at the numbers or do the little due diligence, right? Because you're just going to jump in, and then later it could have been a potential bad decision. So that's the thing where it's like, okay, let me just, ground myself a little bit, get the clarity, get the passion as well, and really make that good decision, make it quick, but also, make it right at the same time.
I love it. I love it. I love it because, in our discussion, we're bringing a lot of balance to what we are saying. What you're saying, what I'm saying. I absolutely love that because it reminds me of for instance, in it's also real estate as well. I mean, I remember tons of conversation with my late husband about how, he doesn't want to sell a property, and I'm thinking it's ripe for harvest because the market is good. We need to be selling that. I want to take that profit. And then he'll be like, no, let's just keep growing it and grow. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's such a pretty apartment. Look what you've done with it. Oh, it looks so nice. Why don't we just keep it? But it's like there's no purpose in keeping it. And so there he is, he's going with sentiment, and he went with, it's just an example. It's just a funny example because that's what he's like. I mean, for him, that profit, for me, that was a great profit. For him, it's like, okay, well, I'm very busy with my law career. What it doesn't really matter. Let's just, keep that piece of property. But I'm like, I want to take profit because it's ripe for profit. That's the whole point of it. The purpose is profit, and so there's that balance there where, it is a positive emotion, but that's sentiment, and you're attaching that sentiment to that property. Can't make money like that. Can't make money like that. And it's the same with, and then there are other emotions involved. I mean, in the stock market, there's a myriad of emotions involved that will, affect decision taking. Yeah, and for instance, I've made many mistakes where, especially lately as well, with the tech stocks have gone down a lot, and I can think back of like, oh my gosh, that was like maybe how many scenarios I could have taken out more profit. I left more money on it, and why didn't I get out earlier? And now, you know, like the tech stocks are down because the money has moved from, for instance, they call it the growth stocks to the value stocks, you know, and so, you know, that's a trend going on. And then because, for instance, I was so busy and I'm like, okay, it's gonna be fine, but you know, now I'm stuck with a few down stocks, you know. But for me, again, it's like, it doesn't bother me. I've already met my goal for the year. I've outperformed my personal goal for the year, you know, and I want to caution people who gets excited about wanting to trade, do not do it unless you have extra money, because it can be disastrous if it is not extra savings that people have. So I always caution people before you get into the stock market, make sure that this is extra savings. Don't go in there thinking, wow, you know, you're, I don't know, Tarzan or something, you know, Tarzan in trading, you know.
I love it.
You want to swing from one tree to another, you know, one trade to another. Yeah. So don't be a Tarzan in trading. No, it's dangerous. You're gonna fall flat on your face, and it's gonna hurt. It's going to hurt. Yeah. So no, with trading, you know, always use extra money that you do not need. That's what I tell people. Yeah. And so for me, for instance, right now, you know, I'm thinking, oh wow, you know, I should have, I didn't have enough time as well. I was very busy, but yeah, you know, I'm sure like it was like a little bit of complacency on my part that I've left the stocks just not touching it because I just also didn't have time. But you know, that's also like a negative emotion, you know, that, and so there's so many things, so many different emotions, so many factors in play when it comes to business, when it comes to, yeah. And I totally am with you. It's just not easy getting the right balance, right? And that's why we are all growing. We are all on this growth journey. We are all trying to learn from people who have done better, you know. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful to be in this awesome group with JT, and to be learning from other people that have done better, you know, and that have got results, you know. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, awesome, Wai. I love that whole segment there. That was awesome, and you know, I think a good way to sort of round that off, and sort of what we're talking about when we talk about these emotions and stuff is, like you said, sometimes we're into it, and it's tougher for some people than others, depending on how we're, you know, built to take the emotion out quite quickly. And a really good thing, you know, with relationships, I guess, is coaching and mentoring, right? Having people around us that can help us, especially in those times, but in general as well. So how important is coaching, mentoring for everyone, and what has it helped you to achieve?
Right. Yeah. I've always had a couple of, no, I would know. Let me rephrase that. I think for a long time in my life, I didn't have any mentors, but I had a lot of teachers from afar. So I was learning from some really famous teachers of the Bible just by watching Christian television. And it got me to really study the Bible myself and getting some really, really good principles that I could apply. And once I started applying, I started seeing a lot of results. Yeah, but and there, I don't know, maybe some of your viewers might even heard of them. They're very famous. They're called, and that's a couple of teachers that have really been impactful in my learning journey. At the very beginning, I listened to Joyce Meyer a lot. You know, she's very famous in the Christian world. And then also the other teacher that I absolutely liked is Andrew Womack. And I also have my own, you know, Christian spiritual father. His name is Ryan Lestrange. He's what we call an apostle in our circles. All this stuff is just a different language. You don't have to worry about it. But, you know, these are people that are role models that I have just, you know, follow, learn, and I'm very thankful for them in my life, you know. And that is I have to say I haven't really been exposed to a lot of mentors, but after coming into contact with JT, I'm just blown away. I just see the power of coaches and mentoring coming into specific situations, which is why now, previously I've been mentoring a lot of people, but it hasn't been so systematic and so clear. And with JT's team and JT's coaches and JT himself, they have really helped me crystallize ideas about coaching myself, because of course I've got a lot to give, but I've been positioning myself pretty much as a teacher the last few years. And that's been great because that's suited my time frame as well. I've been very, very busy in my personal life. Of course, I'm also a mom, and I'm a single parent. There's a lot on my plate, even in my personal family home life. So now I'm ready. I mean, I'm not just only teaching, which I've been doing for 10 years now in my circles, and I'm happy to want to teach other people that are not necessarily in the Christian circle. So, I'm really definitely opening out, and that's why I'm going to be collaborating with JT next year. Very, very excited about it, to help people succeed in general, and also to offer coaching on an individual basis. I'm seeing so much result coming out of some of the few people that have come to me to ask for coaching, and I've been pouring into them. I've been investing in them, and their lives have been transformed. Their lives have absolutely been transformed. And I'm so thankful to be part of that process, that transformative process. Yeah. And so that's why I can't say enough. I never really thought much about it, but my mind has been changed myself as well, after seeing how impactful it has been for me personally, being in contact with JT and JT's coaches, George. George has helped me, and also seeing how I've poured into other people and their lives have been transformed. And so I would definitely encourage people. I mean, honestly, yes, the money is good, but it's not about the money that they spend, as you know. It's about us bringing value to them and helping their lives change. And I think a lot of people have the wrong concept, or like misconceived that, oh my God, I have to spend money. As you know, it's not about them spending money. Is how much they're going to get out of that, how much they're in fact, once they start shifting and start going through that change process with a coach, yeah, that bit of money is not even going to come up on their radar. Yeah, so I would definitely encourage people to think about this. Yeah, to think about getting a mentor, getting a coach. Of course, a personal chemistry is really important as well. I mean, I think they have to, I think there has to be that personal element of getting along with your coach, or at least being open to what your coach has said. I mean, of course, that I think is really important. That hungry attitude, that attitude to want to learn from another person. It takes humility to say, I need help. I'm going to reach out and ask for help. And sadly, I a lot of people have not come to that point yet. But I'm encouraging every single viewer of yours, to really examine themselves. If they want to get beyond where they want to get to, they need a coach. They need a mentor. They need a coach. They need to learn from teachers.
Yeah, I love that. I completely agree with all of that. So many amazing points, Wai-yee. And it's so amazing to hear the impact it's had on you, and now you can, impact a lot of other people. And it's an amazing feeling, because I do it with myself as well. And I think we're all here to help other people in whichever way we can, using our gifts, like you say. And, it's amazing to be able to share that now. And, we connected, through our networks, where you grace the groups with your bubbly personality. You always enjoy getting involved and making a difference where you can. So, I'm very grateful that we connected, and I look forward to working with you in the future as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Let's look into that. Athin, let's look into that. Yeah. I honestly have not thought about investing in Australia, but who knows, I mean, like, anything can happen. Nothing is impossible.
That's right. I love it, Wai-yee. It's right. There's always things we can do in this world. So absolutely love it. So, thank you very much for your time today, Wai-yee. I'm sure many people have greatly benefited from your valuable wisdom. So, how can people find you and get in contact with you?
Yes, I'm on Facebook. They can look me up either on my personal page under Wai-yee Schmidt. They can add me personally, or they can go to my Kings and Wealth page. So Kings, like Kings and Wealth. So they will be able to search it and find me. Yeah.
Thank you for everyone for watching and listening to this show where we talk about everything on business growth. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram as Athin Cassiotis, or visit my website, athincassiotis.com. I completely agree with you, or do I? The only way who knows if you tune in next time. So until next time, remember that our business grows when we learn skills and take action using them in spite of fear. Have a great day.